Now the news. I'm Shane Bigham. The Chinese premiers urged efforts to further push reform and opening up to unleash market vitality and ease downward pressure on the economy. Li Keqiang made the remarks while chairing a symposium on the economic situation. The premier says China should remain confident while fully evaluating the difficulties and devising effective measures to address them. China has expressed grave concerns over the nuclear submarine cooperation between the United States, the United Kingdom, and Australia. The U.S. sides approved a memorandum on an agreement between the three countries for the exchange of naval nuclear propulsion information. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian says the trilateral cooperation deliberately escalates regional tensions, stimulates an arms race, threatens regional peace and stability, and undermines international nuclear non-proliferation efforts. Iran's insisted that the lifting of sanctions against the country will be the determining point in the upcoming talks to revive the 2015 nuclear deal. An official with the country's foreign ministry warned that if the deal does not involve specific economic interests in the normalization of foreign trade for Iran, the United States must know the window for talks will not remain open forever. He dismissed suggestions of a possible interim deal being reached between Iran and its Western counterparts while the nuclear talks are underway. French Prime Minister Jean Castex has tested positive for COVID-19. Returning from Brussels Monday afternoon after meeting with Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo, Castex learned that one of his daughters tested positive for COVID-19. De Croo will be tested again on Wednesday and will remain in quarantine for the time being. A 39-year-old man in Milwaukee is facing 5 counts of first-degree murder after driving into a holiday parade held in Waukesha, Wisconsin on Sunday evening. 5 people were killed and more than 40 others injured. Police say the investigation so far has not linked the case to terrorism. Caroline Malone reports.
We are here at the scene of that horrible incident that happened yesterday. In fact, the suspect, who is now in police custody, drove his red SUV down this main road that's just behind us. And we have heard more from the police in the last hour about this suspect. We understand that there is not believed to be anyone else involved, that he acted alone, and that there is no connection to terrorism. And in fact, it is thought that this man does have a history of violent crime. He'd been charged before with violent crime. Let's have a listen to more of what the police chief had to say just earlier.
At this time, the Waukesha Police Department is referring 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide with additional charges based on the investigation.
And so these are, charges of intentional homicide, and that very much reflects what we've heard from people here today. We do know in the updated numbers, 48 at least were injured, 5 people have been killed.
The global computer chip shortage has stalled the U.S. auto sector. However, used car dealers and mechanics are revving up. Nitza Soledad Perez reports from Miami.
The global supply chain disruption is not bad news for everyone. American auto mechanics have more work and are making more money.
It's like a junkyard.
Luis Silva is the owner of In-N-Out Auto Repairs in Florida. He says his business is roaring back.
It's doing good. It's doing a lot better than before. Obviously, people would rather fix the old cars than buy new ones. They don't want to get into the new cars because they're way too much money. Cars used to be $30,000, $45,000. Believe it or not, you could compare old prices 2 years ago to now. They increased about $15,000, $20,000. It's ridiculous.
Pandemic shutdowns and increased demands last year led to a global shortage of microchips that's still far from over, and that's meant a shortage of new cars and car parts. Consumers are turning to used car dealerships where some are feeling sticker shock. The Cox Automotive Group tracks prices and found the average listing price for used cars hit an all-time high this fall of nearly $27,000.
This has certainly benefited us. True, car prices are way higher than, let's say, 2 years ago, but new car dealerships have no inventory. They have no cars. Then buyers have no other choice but to buy a used car.
The China Association of Automobile Manufacturers says Chinese passenger car brands saw their share of the domestic market grow in October. Sales of Chinese brands accounted for 47.5% of all passenger vehicle sales last month. The association says the local brands saw their market share increase 0.6% in October from a month earlier. And that's the news. I'm Shane Bigham.